So what I've decided to do is to go a bit further into depth about something many people have been curious about, and that is a compound known as ادرينوكروم. For some reason, there are several conspiracy theories surrounding ادرينوكروم, and I wanted to give this a fair examination. Now, with all the supplements, chemicals, drugs available, what is so special about oxidized adrenaline? What is so valuable and magical about this drug that evil occultists would be after it? So much so that they would set up an underground ring of sorts to obtain it. This is something that can be made in a lab with epinephrine. You know, you would think with a drug like DMT out there, what do you need ادرينوكروم for? But there must be a reason. So we are going to take a look into this adrenal craze. Is this substance a simple delicacy for the super strange elite? Or does ادرينوكروم have properties we have yet to understand? Well, that is why we are here, to gain that understanding. So, stay tuned as we explore the bizarre world of drugs, secrecy, and terror. A place bound to our reality. It is a place we know to be here and now, and not in the Twilight Zone. So first we have adrenaline. It is also called epinephrine, which is secreted by the left and right adrenal glands located on top of the kidneys. There are also neurons in the brain that produce this. Adrenaline comes either in the form of a hormone or medicine. And what this does as a natural hormone is it acts as a neurotransmitter and sends a signal to the brain to respond to, let's say, a sudden increase in anxiety. It causes the heart to rev up and pump more blood to the muscles. It also causes changes in your blood sugar levels. When epinephrine enters the bloodstream, it gets absorbed by a pre- or postsynaptic cell. Some of the epinephrine or norepinephrine stay in circulation with a half-life of about 1 to 3 minutes. Then it is metabolized by the liver and kidneys. Now in the human body, ادرينوكروم is the metabolite of epinephrine or adrenaline when a person is in a fight or flight response. The hormone is released in response to the stress. If the stress is prolonged, this may lead to a culmination or buildup of ادرينوكروم, which can lead to psychological disorders such as schizophrenia. Now in the laboratory, there are several agents that they can use to oxidize adrenaline. ادرينوكروم is available for purchase at around a few $100 to $1,000 for around a quarter of a gram. The prices vary, of course. It's not illegal. In other words, it's not on the schedule of illegal substances. It's not approved by the FDA. However, they do require safe manufacturing practices. Now, some of the effects this stuff has on the human body is not really used in medicine, as it's not a widely studied substance. It is mostly used to stop hemorrhaging. It's an agent that will stop blood flow. There are derivatives of this: ادرينوكروم, semicarbazone, mescaline, and neuromelanin. Some reported effects on the body are hallucinations, confusion, bizarre ideation, body dysmorphia, euphoria, mania, depersonalization. Now you can go looking for the real research on this stuff, and you will notice it is very difficult to pull up any definite information on ادرينوكروم. Some say that ادرينوكروم has anti-aging effects, but the side effects of using such a substance seem to be mostly negative. At any rate, any anti-aging effects only seem to be temporary. So here's the thing. You can, of course, get this stuff from a lab manufacturer for study. It is not illegal, but it is reported as having some significant psychological effects. And it should be considered a psychedelic, but it's not. For some strange reason, they don't consider it to be a psychedelic. The information on ادرينوكروم is so scattered and indirect. It's a loop of information that goes nowhere. Why is that? But you know what? The animal testing, the rat testing results is all you really need to pay attention to, because those results tell you. In certain concentrations, it can damage cells, especially in the heart. Remember, one of the reasons rats or mice are used in studies is because how they mimic humans in behavior and genetics. They respond in a similar way a human would respond to certain treatments or substances or diseases. Now here's where you have to stay with me. Let's say someone wanted to get ادرينوكروم from a living being. In order for the adrenal glands to release epinephrine, it needs hormone signaling from the brain first. Besides, the adrenal gland does not produce ادرينوكروم, only epinephrine, and a few other hormones like cortisol. So you're not getting ادرينوكروم from the adrenal glands. If you want to get epinephrine from adrenal glands, I believe you can get something like 10 to 25 milligrams per kilo of adrenal glands. So trying to get ادرينوكروم from adrenal gland extract, it's not easy to do. Your yield is not that good. You'll need quite a few glands. This is something to think about if you imagine someone trying to turn extracted epinephrine from a human being, which isn't very much, by the way. Then you have to isolate the adrenaline through a quite complex process using a certain solution. Then you have to oxidize it with certain oxidizing agents. You see where I'm going with this, right? Let's say you do this another way. Let's say someone wanted to extract ادرينوكروم from the blood of a living organism. Even if they were to shock the poor creature into releasing loads of adrenaline into the bloodstream, which happens to cows, by the way, when they're slaughtered incorrectly, that releases a lot of adrenaline into the bloodstream, which in turn ruins the meat. It poisons it, actually. But when it comes to releasing adrenaline into the bloodstream for humans, we are talking nanograms per liter, not milligrams. Something around 10 nanograms when you're resting, and around 100 nanograms when exercising, and around 500 or more nanograms during times of stress. If you were able to pull just a tenth of a milligram of adrenaline per liter of body fluid, and you only have about 4.5 to 5 liters, you would need someone to be putting out 100,000 nanograms of adrenaline or more. And the idea here is you expose the adrenaline saturated blood to air, it oxidizes, and thus you have congealed body fluid with ادرينوكروم in it. But traces, you're not going to have milligrams of the stuff in a few liters of blood. I mean, you need about 25 milligrams of adrenochrome per kilogram of weight just to see any effect on a rat. The only way you are going to get a good amount of adrenochrome from the blood is if you put it in the blood first. In other words, you take lab-made adrenochrome, administer extremely high doses of it, and then there would be high concentrations in the blood. So now that we have a little better understanding of the substance, here comes the part that I don't like discussing. So let me put it to you this way. You know those stories they have about Bohemian Grove and the mock sacrifices? You know, one of the reasons why they do that, one of the reasons why they let loose and act goofy, crazy, is because they are trying to collectively conjure up a certain energy. They are trying to raise people's spirits, if you want to put it that way. The end goal here, the purpose of the ritual is, of course, a business deal. Some insider information on a stock. A product sold, a product bought. The purpose of the ritual is to make money, to create a shift in power, either in a company or in government. They do this so that new laws are passed in their favor. They do this for power. Now think about the Aztecs and their rituals. They did these things for the same reasons. They didn't just do all that stuff so they could make it rain. These types of rituals come in different forms. There are different formulas. The kind of stuff that you would find in the deepest, darkest room in a hostile movie. The drug use, the lowercase g God worship, the sexual and physical crimes against adults and children, the trafficking, summoning of evil spirits, all that stuff, in that order, we know does occur. It's real. People have admitted to it in the past. It happens. To what degree? Let's just pray it is lower than we think. Unfortunately, they have cartels dedicated to this. See, the idea of a human sacrifice is to conjure up the most amount of negative energy in the space by doing something that is horrendous in action. Spirit possesses the victim is sacrificed, and the energy from the evil spirit is believed to be in the blood of the victim. Someone consumes the blood, they believe they can possess the power and control of the evil spirit. Now that is about as light as I can talk about something so dark. So I hope you understood that. Now, if you go to Google image search for adrenochrome, you're going to see dozens of celebrities and politicians. Now, are any of those people adrenochrome addicts? Are they criminals in disguise? And trust me, folks, there are people out there that you would never know what they were into. I don't know. I don't think getting hooked on adrenochrome is very healthy, and I do think you would start to develop some serious heart problems. In any event, if the effects that it has on humans is true, then yeah, I could see a group of sick individuals slurping adrenochrome as some dark elite delicacy. You ever watch those vampire movies and wonder, why are they always rich, living in mansions? Everybody is good looking. Everybody is charming. And then one of the vampires pours themselves a fresh glass of sauce. There is also a theory about how aliens like to harvest the adrenal glands. Man, aliens just like glands in general. You got it, they'll take it. That's another discussion actually for another time. There are various reasons why people commit evil acts. It has always existed in the dark corners of our society. It is an infection. It is an ex-event within itself, a plague. When it comes to adrenochrome, the reality is you don't need humans to get it. They can make it. and lots of it. And then there is the dark reality in which some people have some pretty sick fetishes. Well, until next time, folks, stay awake, stay aware, and stay safe. There are vampires out there. And I'll talk to you all soon.